Guys, welcome back to 11.4. Today we're going to talk about how to graph using an XY table. Now, one thing I've tried to stress throughout the years is that is that for all these types of graphs we've done, linear, exponential, and quadratic, there's easier ways to graph it. But on a test maybe like the ACT, you might not remember how to graph a quadratic or a exponential graph, and I'd be willing to bet that we probably don't right now. And so one way you can always graph is by just making an XY table, plugging in values for X and finding what they are for Y, and then plotting the points and connecting the dots basically. So that's one way to always figure out what the graph's going to look like, okay? And so it's an important thing. You'll do some of this in Algebra 2. So it's important how we know, or that we know how to do it. Now it's just plugging in X values and getting out Y values. Um, and so I'm not even going to give you the X values. You know, sometimes I've given you the X values, but you should always be able to choose X values. Now for today, they're all going to be linear. So they're all going to be straight lines. So we just need to pick X and Y values to draw a line. And so you could choose any, let's see, I have 4 dots here. So we could choose any X values to plug in. Now, ideally, you would pick X values on your graph. You don't want to pick negative 100 because then you'll have to make a really large graph, right? So I just go from negative 10 to 10. So I don't know. Let's just do negative 4, negative 2, 2, and 4. Why not? Just picked 4. And I picked them far enough apart that I could draw hopefully a more straight line. We'll see if that even happens. But we have our X values. Now a function is just basically a rule, and it tells you what you do with the X value to get a Y value. So we're plugging in these X values for X to get a Y value. So if I plug in negative 4, it's Y equals 1 times negative 4 plus 3. Well, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, plus 3 is negative 1. Okay, well if you plug in negative 2, you got 1 times negative 2 plus 3. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, plus 3 is 1. If we plug in 2, 1 times 2 is 2, plus 3 is 5. If you plug in 4, 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. Okay, so with that rule we found our Y values. So now you just plot the points. So you go negative 4, down 1, there's 1 point. Negative 2, up 1. Because these are just like XY points. So this would be negative 4, comma 1. Or sorry, negative 1. Okay, so these are just XY coordinates now. So I'm plotting these. So 2, up 5, and 4, up 7. That's 8. That's 7. And I'm going to try to connect my dots as much as possible. That actually wasn't terrible. And that's my graph. Now if you use it doing slope and y-intercept, you start at 3, your y-intercept, go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. That looks like our graph. So either way you do it, it'll work out. This is probably more work, but again, if you forget rules or how to graph certain equations on the ACT, any graph you could use an XY table. So let's do another one. Negative 2x plus 1. So I'm just going to pick the same old points. I'm just picking these points because they're more spread out, and I fear that if I pick these 4, my line's going to look terrible. You could certainly do 0, negative 1, or 0, 1, 2, 3, you know, anything. Just pick points on your graph. For a line, you technically only need 2, but I'm just filling out an XY table because if it's not a linear function, you're definitely going to need more than 2. Otherwise, you're not going to know the shape. So if you plug in negative 4, you have negative 2 times negative 4, which is positive 8, plus 1, which is 9. You have negative 2 times negative 2, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5. You get negative 2 times 2, that's positive 2, sorry, which is going to be negative 4, plus 1 is negative 3. Then you have negative 2 times positive 4, which is negative 8, plus 1, which is negative 7. So then you plot your points. Negative 4, up 9, okay. Negative 2, up 5, 2, you go down 1, 2, 3. And at 4, you go down 7. And I'm going to try to draw my line here. This is probably not going to end well. It is close. And so there is my line, which makes sense because we have a negative slope. So my line should be going down. Okay. Now sometimes if we look at our slope, it's not a nice number. So sometimes it is okay to use a calculator. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to type these into my calculator. Let's see, 2 and 4. And so I would type in negative 2 divided by 5, and that's negative 0.4, times that by negative 4, our x value, and then you subtract 3. I get negative 1.4. Okay. Plug in negative 2. You got negative 2 divided by 5. Again, that's negative 0.4. Times by negative 2. You get 0.8 minus 3. You get negative 2.2. Keep going along. I'm going to plug in 2 now. And you should get negative 3.8. And then again, times 4 minus 3 is negative 4.6. Now one thing to note is that it is 2 divided by 5, 2 over 5. So if you pick numbers that are divisible by 5, it would be nice numbers. So if you pick negative 10, negative 5, 0 would work nice, 5 and 10, they would work nice. You can always just do decimals as well, either way. So I'm going to plot these. Now it might be a little off because I chose to do decimals. Negative 1.4, I'll put that somewhere around there. Let's see, negative 2 is negative 2.2. That's somewhere right there. At 2, it's negative 3.8. Put you there. And at 4, it's at negative 4.6. Put you somewhere there. So that's actually a pretty good line, if I can draw. Okay. So one thing you could do is just plug into your calculator. I will show you with the next example how to pick nice points. So here, if you want to pick nice points when it's a fraction, you look at the denominator. The denominator is 4. So I want to pick multiples of 4 that would be nice. Okay? And so I'll do negative 4, because negative 4, you can divide 4 evenly. Now 0 always works, because 0 times any fraction is going to get you 0. Okay? So 0 always works. And then 4 is divisible by 4. And then 8 is divisible by 4. And so if you multiply this, you'll end up getting nice numbers. You have 3 over 4 times negative 4, and then you have the plus 1. Well, remember, these basically cancel out. The 4 and the 4, because you have 4 on top, 4 on bottom. So then you would have a negative 1 times 3, which is negative 3. So negative 3 plus 1, negative 2. If you plug in 0, 0 times 3 over 4 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Okay. From 4, if you multiply, you got 3 over 4 times 4 plus 1. Well, 4's cancel out. You got 3 plus 1 is 4. And then again, you got 3 over 4 times 8 over 1 plus 1. Well, 4 goes into 8 2 times. So you got 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1 is 7. Okay, so I'm not sure which way is easier. If you want to pick nice numbers, you can do that. If you want to pick oh no. Oh, pooey. Did not mean to do that. If you want to pick nice numbers, then you can do that as well. Okay. Either way, you'll get the same line. And so I'm just going to graph this really quick, what it looked like. Your graph would look something like this right here. Okay, sorry. I don't know how to change that in PowerPoint. When I accidentally scroll, it erases everything. But hopefully today was an easier lesson for you guys. If you have homework questions, show up to the Zoom session at 2 p.m. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.